do it.
Hello, this is Angela Anderson. Thanks for joining me today. We are going to be painting one of my favorite subjects, flowers. I've got my husband Mark with me here.
Hey there, everybody.
I'm going to be doing this in acrylics, and I'll show you step by step how to do it all the way through. This is our reference picture, but we're going to kind of do our own thing with it. I went ahead and painted the background of my canvas. This is a 16 by 12 by 16 canvas panel with Prussian Blue. Any dark blue will do, or even light blue if you want to go more by the picture. That is fine too. I just like the color. I've seen lately some, like, I don't know, decorating things with this navy blue with the bright pink. And I really like that color combination, so I thought we would try it today with the cherry blossoms. So there's our reference photo up in the corner there. Hopefully it won't block off too much of our canvas. Our color palette's pretty limited. Excuse me. I'm going to try not to lose my voice today. Allergies have been getting the better of me this week. We've got carbon black. I'm not sure if we're going to need it or not, but I put it out just in case. Burnt umber, Prussian blue. And you can mix Prussian blue with like a phthalo blue with some black. Something like that would work. This is Quinacridone Magenta. That'll be our pink color. And if you don't have quinacridone, probably alizarin crimson would come close to a substitute. This is Indian yellow hue, but you could probably use like a orange instead, mixed with some cadmium yellow. This is cadmium yellow light, white, and unbleached titanium, which is a mixed white that's got some yellow oxide in it and maybe a little burnt umber. So those are our colors for this, pretty limited. I'm going to just use white chalk here and kind of lay out my basic composition. And I wanted it to kind of come from the top down, like you're looking up through the branches this time. So I'm going to just come from this upper corner and do kind of a wiggly line diagonally and stay about if you kind of divided your canvas into thirds, this would be my third here. So I'm going to kind of try to go right along that line. And then when I get to this third and this third, I'm going to break off those two branches coming off from it. So this one's going to kind of wiggle down and not go quite as far. And this one is going to branch off and wiggle down and then kind of come back up a little bit. Right there. So those are our two main branches. We'll thicken this up a little bit and thicken up that space there. These cherry blossoms kind of do these weird angular things, so you get these really interesting shapes. So we'll have one kind of coming off weird over here. And then let's, I think in my photograph, there's some stuff going on back here. And instead of doing all of that, I think I'm just going to put like a small branch over here, just with some buds or something coming off of it to kind of fill that space. And then there's another branch coming up this way, breaking off. We'll do another one kind of coming down here. I don't want to crowd it too much. I want to leave kind of some empty space for our eye to breathe. So, but I do want to kind of fill it up somewhat.
Did you just say our eye to breathe?
I did. Yes.
Oh, okay. I've been doing it wrong all these years. Why did somebody not tell me? And I know I'm a mouth breather sometime, but an eye breather is a whole different thing.
It's a whole different... It's an art thing. You wouldn't understand.
This is a great lightning picture. We're about done.
It is lightning. It does look a little bit like lightning. You're right. I've noticed that before. Thanks, honey.
Well, that was a quick video. Thanks for joining us. Give us a thumbs up. Subscribe. We should do this a two-parter. Stop here.
Don't make me laugh.
Sorry.
Oh, goodness. I'm doing my best to baby my voice this week so I didn't lose it for today's show. You can ruin all my plans there. Okay, that looks pretty good. I just kind of looking to make sure that, you know, it looks visually pleasing. I want maybe another something coming down over here. And I'm trying to picture these clusters because, you know, my flowers are going to kind of cluster around these branches in these large shapes. So it might help you to kind of chalk out a few of those, make sure they're not overlapping too much, although they do overlap quite a bit. But just to make it a little bit more visually clean, easier to process, because this photograph is it's just like a massive pink. And so I kind of wanted to separate out some individual clumps a little bit more to kind of make it easier to process it visually. So here's these. And so that'll be kind of what we end up with there. And then I can see, okay, we've got a big empty spot right in here. So maybe I'll need something coming off of this. Just maybe some more buds or something right in here.
So here's another fun fact for you.
Okay.
They used to use chalk in school. They had chalkboards, and they used to write on that back in the day.
Right.
So there's probably some black and white pictures of that.
As opposed to using it for art? Is that what you're saying?
Well, yeah. So, for all the kids out there.
That's true, they did.
Ask your mom and dads.
I remember cleaning out I would beg to get to clean the chalkboard. That was like the treat in our classes. Mm-hmm. Okay, it's going to look really weird, but that's about what I think we want to go for there. So let's go ahead and put in some of our branches, and we'll put the branches down, and we'll put some flowers down, and then we'll put some branch over the top as well. But did you notice I just kind of ignored that completely? I'm
used to it. Did you notice that I ignored you ignoring it?
Exactly. Okay. So we're on the same page there.
I trump your ignore with another ignore.
If you're new to my channel, welcome. We are definitely don't take ourselves too seriously here. Hope you don't mind that, because it's pretty much the norm. We try to make learning to paint fun. Mark is an engineer, so he helps me with the technical side of all of this, but we enjoy just kind of getting to chat. This is kind of like our dates. This is about the only time during the week we know for sure we're going to talk to each other.
Yeah, so we get alone,
right?
Uninterrupted.
Exactly. No kids, no TV. So you never know what you're going to hear. So apologize in advance if you take your art really, really seriously, because we may not be up to par there. Okay, so I've added a little bit of burnt umber just to kind of dull out our blue there, and I'm going to use this color as my base for my branch. I've got this is a number 4, a number 6 round here. Grab a little bit more white so that it shows up a little bit better. May end up having to add some black just so that it shows up against this dark blue. We'll see. I might grab some brown here too. Just add some of that in there. And I'm not being super careful with it. If you notice, I'm kind of dabbing it on, because the branches are very knobby on these trees. They've got all these little rough spots all along them, so it makes them very rough. The bark is rough and irregular. A little bit like Mark. Couldn't resist that one, sorry.
I see how this is going to go. Okay. So how did you want your voice to sound today? Right. Okay. Got it.
Got it.
You'll have to watch back to see what I did.
Oh no, did you just do something to
What?
it? Put it back. Put it back. Be good. All right, I'm going to grab some black and see if I can get just a little bit darkness. Yeah, there we go. Just working wet into wet. All of this is still wet, so I'm kind of just adding a little bit of, let me zoom in a little bit so you can see better what I'm doing. This should be interesting. Try to keep it in camera for you. Grab some of that unbleached titanium, see what that does. Add a little bit more texture to it. Just barely dabbing it. I'm kind of doing the dark side over here and then the light side over here, so maybe we'll have our light source coming from above this direction. Most of these little branches inside the blossoms are going to kind of be covered, so, but I do want some of them to show. We'll start out with them showing, and then we'll probably cover part of them and come back in and reapply some of it if we want it to stick out in some places. So we'll...
The canvas is a little shiny. That dark color is
I know,
kind of
yeah.
reflecting the light a little bit.
I know, I don't know what's... I guess I need to hold it up a little bit with my hand.
You can turn all the lights off.
Somebody complaining about it?
Well, no, people were wondering what we're saying. Is it shiny?
Yeah, it is. It's that Prussian Blue is a little bit shiny too, the way it dried. I think once we get our pinks on there, hopefully it won't be as bad. And I'm narrowing it as I get down toward the tip of the branch, so it'll be thicker, closer to the tree, and thin as it comes down to down the line. So just keep that in mind when you're putting these branches in. You want them to thin.
We got a question here.
Okay.
Asking, is there any way to make Prussian blue?
Yeah, you can use phthalo blue with some black. It's pretty close to the same color. I looked it up and it was like phthalo and dioxazine, which is a purple, but it wasn't dioxazine purple that it said, so I don't know if it's a purplish color that they're adding or what, but, and then it was white, or not white, black, yeah, so for sure phthalo blue, black, and you could try adding a little purple if you wanted to see if it helps, I don't know. Okay.
We're just real chatty today.
I know. That's okay. You're over there doing your numbers or whatever it is you're doing.
I was replying
Oh,
to a question.
that's awesome.
Yeah, somebody asked if you would consider painting a hummingbird.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, you know what my answer was.
What?
If we could catch one.
Don't make me laugh.
I muted you there. So.
Thank you. I'm going off camera here. You're not paying attention.
Are you
now.
going off camera?
Yeah, thanks.
You're welcome. Well, again, I can't see here.
I know, sorry.
Your monitor's angled away from me.
Yeah, it is. Okay, well,
I can't work in these conditions.
We'll get you a new monitor, hopefully soon. Okay, so there's my main branches. They're going to be pretty subtle. We can make them a little bit more noticeable later. For now, that's going to do. It's just our first coat. I'm going to grab my angle brush now and start laying in some of our flowers. And I'm going to grab the quinacridone and some white, mix those together. You need the white. The quinacridone's a transparent color, so you need to add the white to it to make it opaque. Titanium white is an opaque white, so it'll make anything that you add to it more visible.
And then, I don't know if you said it because I wasn't really paying attention, but, you know, for people with the background, they can use whatever colors they have. They don't have to go with the Prussian blue. They can.
Yeah, I already
do
said
whatever.
that. Yeah, they can use whatever
Okay,
color
we
they
had a
have.
bunch of people coming in a little late, so
Oh, okay.
I'm handing out tardy slips here
Okay.
to them, and so, or they have to stay late and make up work.
Okay. Sorry, guys. Okay. So I'm going to start, let me go ahead and zoom back in. You can see how pretty that pink is against that dark blue already. And this is going to be kind of our medium pink color. We'll add highlights to it and darken it up in some places too. So I'm just going to start adding clusters of flowers, and they kind of come off of these. They do this, each one of these branches has these stems that come out, and there's clusters of flowers that come off of it. So I'm going to do 5 clustered clumps, but I'm going to overlap them some. So, and I'm not going to worry too much about painting every single petal. So some of them are going to be turning sideways, so you're only going to see part of them. You might only see 2 petals on some of them, and others you'll see all 5 if they're pointing just exactly right at you. So every now and then I'll put in one that's got all 5. So that's kind of what we're going for right there. Go ahead and put in a few just little dots. I'm going to put a few of these, I like that darker color in there with it. And all I'm doing, I've got my angle brush. This is a 3/8 inch angle brush. I'm just setting it down and swooping it to the side, smushing it down to create these petals. Sometimes I'm pulling it in one direction. Sometimes I'm just kind of barely tapping it to kind of create a circular petal. So vary it up. That's kind of the main thing that you want to do. You don't want to go through and put them all exactly 5 flowers all next to each other, because that will look a little bit unnatural. You know, in nature, everything is kind of, well, if you look at our photograph, I mean, it's all jumbled up into one big mass of blooms. So you can kind of look at it and try to kind of figure out where some of the flowers are pointing. But I kind of like to just sort of, I don't know, just relax and kind of just play with it. Create some interesting shapes with these. Go in and out with it. You know, it's not like a circle of blooms, kind of creating different irregular shapes as I do it. I think I might, well, we'll just keep on going here. Leaving spaces in between for different things. Just going to keep on going here. And some of these are going to just be background flowers, so I'll add a little bit of Prussian Blue and do a couple of them. Maybe do this one so it's like a little farther away, and do some petals with a little bit of this Prussian Blue mixed in so that it looks like they're a little bit farther away maybe. I'll do a few of them in here too. I'll get the brighter. Okay, looking pretty good. And a few just coming off the branch there. How you doing, hun? It's making sense to you?
It's making sense.
Good.
Did that sound convincing?
Yes.
Okay. No, I was listening to the cardinal
Outside.
making noises and wondering if they could hear him on the video.
Could they hear him?
I don't think so.
I couldn't really. I wasn't paying attention though. Cats are probably out there messing with him again. He left us one. There's a present on the back porch. Bad cat. We could just get him to stop. He's good at getting the mice and stuff. If we could just get him to stop catching birds, be all set. Like, he doesn't differentiate between the birds and the mice as vermin. They are all equally in his target. Okay, so let me zoom out. You can kind of see what we're doing here so far. So pretty. You can see how that just by adding that little bit of blue. Look how that looks a little bit farther away, right? So let's do another one over here. Maybe this, maybe up here. We'll do one with the blue. Just adding a little bit of blue to the okay. Maybe do them these little buds over here with a little bit of it. Look like they're a little farther away. And that'll just give this illusion of like shadowing happening in the between the tree branches, so they're not all on the same plane. Not all laid flat. The branches, some of them are coming, you know, forward, and some of them are farther away from us, even though we're seeing through all of them. Grab a little bit more pink and white. I just cleaned out my brush so it didn't have that blue in it, so it didn't change the tint of my pink here. For these ones that I want to look like they're close up. It's just a matter of dabbing and I don't know. Feel like right now I'm just kind of looking at my composition here. I feel like it's pretty solid through here. I do like this branch, but I think I want a little bit of something over here, like maybe there's a blossom coming off of that branch there. Let's bring this one down a little bit. And sorry, I'm just thinking here. Just making sure. I want to get my composition pleasing. So there's a lot of empty space down here. So I might want to extend this out a little bit. Just a little bit. Okay. And maybe just add a little bit of something right there. Okay, I think we're good. I like that. Let's kind of clean out my brush here. And I'm going to carefully take a damp towel. Just going to blot off some of my chalk lines so I can tell what I've got here, where I need to add more paint. Be careful not to rub too hard or you'll rub your paint right off. Make sure that the paint is dry underneath where you're touching this.
Okay, so people are wondering what brand of brush you are using.
This one was a Zen Royal Langnickel Zen, and they carry it at the brush guys. It's under the all media brushes.
Okay.
And
you have a link to the brush guys.
I have a link to the brush guys. I don't have a link to this particular brush in there in the description, but the Royal Langnickel Zen, it's the 3/8 inch angle, and they have a whole line of brushes that are really very good, and they're inexpensive for the quality. You know, I found that they're kind of one of the better inexpensive brands of brush. There are a few, but
I think we'll need to add the link to the brush guys on this video here.
it's down in the description.
It is.
Under my brushes. Yeah, if you go where the materials list is.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there it is. Yep.
It's right there, and then it says my code is Angela Fine Art, so you get a 5% discount on any of your brushes that you buy.
Right. I'm going to go shopping.
Okay, do it. I should. We're going to hit 60,000 this week, hopefully, as long as people keep subscribing, which I hope y'all do if you're new and haven't already. But we are going to be doing a giveaway next week, hopefully, and the brush guys are going to be our sponsor for that. They are giving us some gift cards to give away, so that should be exciting. And I've just got to finalize all the details with them about that, but that should be coming up next week, hopefully, either Tuesday or Saturday. So you have to watch both days, I guess, just to make sure.
And the gift cards will be valued somewhere between $1 and $1 million. So make sure you tune in. Probably closer to $1. But we'll see.
Anywhere in that region, right?
Exactly. They won't go over $1 million for sure.
No, for sure. For sure. Oh, gosh. You're a mess. You're going to get me in trouble.
I said somewhere between.
True.
So.
Yeah. All right. So now is where I can go back in and decide if I want to put in any more branches, any branches on top. So I think I'm going to go ahead and put a few in over the top of, and I'm just using my angle brush here for this, over the top of some of these flowers, and that will push them back. And then when we put our final details on, they'll be kind of embedded underneath. And then if I've got any that are sticking out on their own, I can kind of connect them now. So now I know, okay, these go here. I need... I've added a little bit of white to my Prussian Blue mix that I had before. Let's go ahead and put a branch over the top of that. There. Just adding a few little details. I'll go ahead and add a little bit of this color on here now. This is just a little bit brighter white than we had before, and it'll make this kind of pop off a little bit. Just fairly lightly tapping it to kind of get some of that color to come off my brush. Maybe use the tip of it. Okay. And I'm not going all the way down like in a line. I'm just kind of tapping it so that it's catching on certain parts of the canvas and looking sort of weathered. I don't want it to look too repetitive either, so I can go back in and kind of, if I've got like a pattern forming, I want to break that up. So yeah, I'm excited. The brush guys have been very generous. They're going to give us $100, $50, and $25 gift cards. So we'll be giving those away.
Oh, we're going to give them away. Oh, okay.
Yeah, not for me. I don't need any more brushes. Well, I say I don't need any more, and then I'll go out and buy some more. But I swear I have.
But this is for the fans.
Yes. Yep.
What do you say?
Just a thank you.
Celebrating the 60,000 mark.
Yep.
Appreciate everybody subscribing and following Angela. It's a blessing for sure.
Yep. We'd like to give back whenever we can. So.
Yeah, the last giveaway for 50,000 was a brush set, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
yep,
actually 3.
Brush and, yeah, we had 3 different sets of brushes and paints and things. So that was a good giveaway. That was the rose painting. So and I don't know what I'm going to paint for this one to come up with something good. So I'm going to do this one a little bit darker for the one that's a little bit farther away. Not quite as white. Yeah, we could do it for my birthday. That's a good idea. My birthday's coming up in a couple weeks, so maybe we can do the giveaway for that.
Yeah, I didn't know if you wanted to tell everybody.
Well.
It was a secret. Shh.
That's a good idea. I hadn't thought of that.
Maybe we'll get a free dessert.
Go to Chili's, we can get a molten lava cake or something. My girlfriends were trying to lure me out last night with that. I was too busy. Okay. So now I'm just kind of going through here and adding stems to some of these that I've, already kind of put the blossoms in, just making sense of where they're placed. Adding a little bit of highlight to that. Yeah, that's a good birthday, like a giveaway. Do the giveaway for my birthday. It's a good idea, honey. Like my thank you to you, to everybody.
Well, actually, you thought of it. I just reminded you of it.
Well, I did, yeah, but I did forget.
But thanks for pretending it like it was my idea.
It could have been. I've slept since then. I don't remember everything as well as I used to. I forget who I've told what anymore. I swear. It's so bad. It's like I'm sure my friends have heard the same stories over and over again because I forget if I've told them things. And then I'll tell Mark something and he'll be like, what? When did that happen? But I didn't tell you about that? He's always the last to know. Poor guy. And then, but I can never tell if he's actually for real didn't tell him or if he just forgets because he's got the worst selective memory, I swear.
Oh, come on.
You do.
Don't sell me out like that. I just forget where stuff is.
That's true. I've
And-
been painting off camera here.
And
sorry.
I may have rented the same movie twice.
And
before.
given me the same birthday card a couple of times. Or maybe it was the anniversary card. I can't remember. Hey, at least you gave me a card.
Exactly,
I mean,
see?
that's the thought that
There's
counts.
a point there. And then you remembered I gave it to you before.
Well, I'm visual that way. I kind of remember those kind of things for some reason. And I remember where I put stuff 5 years ago when it's amazing to me. Mark would be like, where's the staple gun and Staples? I'm like, third door down on the I mean, I haven't looked at it in years. It's freaky. It really is. It's my superpower. If I was a superhero, that would be my superpower, I think, remembering where things are.
But she has been known to look for her glasses that are on top of her head.
True.
So.
Well, those, those don't count. So maybe I'm not a superhero quite yet. Still in training.
Oh, you are in my eyes. Honey.
Oh, so sweet.
Points. Hey, I just found the Valentine's chocolate I got for you just before the show. Just a month late, that's all.
Exactly. That's all right. At least you shared it with me. Okay. Just getting done with these branches here. All these little details make a difference in the end. Just take your time, make sure you kind of get every... I mean, I don't have to connect everything, just as long as I have some sort of a support system for my blossoms. That's the main idea. I don't have to put branches to every single one of them. But I've got one to every cluster, if that makes sense. So every cluster's got its own kind of support branch backing it up there. All right, so let's grab the quinacridone and we'll start putting in some centers in some of these. So I already kind of did it a little bit on this one, but I'm going to kind of add some of this darker pink to the center and on a few of the petals. Not not all of them, but just adding a little bit of extra dark detail here and there. This is really kind of one of those paintings that you kind of just have to look at your photo and kind of go with the flow. Don't be too literal, or, you know, there's not really, I don't think that you're going to be able to replicate mine exactly, so don't worry about it if yours looks different. This is kind of going to be an expressionistic kind of painting where you're just going to kind of express your idea of the cherry blossoms and kind of just embrace that, go with it. You know, even if it's not exactly the way you had hoped it to turn out, you know, I really feel like every painting is a learning process, a journey, and, you know, even in our paintings that we don't love as much as others, we can kind of embrace the things that are imperfect about it, sort of like ourselves. Sort of a metaphor for life, I guess. And, you know, my groups, my Thankful Art group and my Angeluni group that I share with Cinnamon Cooney, and my Taking Flight group, that's my Patreon only folks. Okay, I am. You know, our main rule is to be kind to others in our critiques and be kind to one another, and be kind to ourselves 100%, because I think we're our own worst critics most times. So, you know, I always try to find the good in what we're doing. There's always something good about a painting or, you know, an art experience, so you don't have to I don't know. I think there's so much criticism in the art world. It just turns me off. I really want it to be a positive experience for people who are learning to paint. And I don't feel like when you're first learning that you need to have people telling you that that looks bad or pointing out every flaw, because you already know that there's things that you want to work on. The point is trying and working on it and practicing. It's kind of like, you know, you wouldn't tell a child when they're learning to play the piano that they suck at it. And, you know, I'm going back in with some this is the Prussian Blue mixed with the...
Can you say that on YouTube?
Quinacridone Magenta. What?
Suck?
Suck. I think so.
Okay.
I don't think it's one of my bad words that
Okay.
I blocked a few words. Just add a few of this darker color. But anyhow, I don't know. I'm getting on my soapbox here, but what was I saying now? You interrupted me. Oh, well, just that, somehow we think, and, when we're adults, that if you don't have talent, quote unquote, that you can't do art, and that if you can't pick up a brush for the first time and create some sort of masterpiece, that you shouldn't paint. And that's the farthest thing from the truth. It's like any skill, you can learn it and you can improve. And, just because you're not necessarily great at it at the very beginning doesn't mean that you shouldn't be able to express yourself and, put your feelings and things out on canvas. It's a really fun experience. And I try to create paintings that, in my tutorials, that will help you along in that journey and allow you to do it, have some success at it as you're learning, to paint. That's my whole goal, is to kind of think, okay, what is something that is achievable for a first-time painter, or somebody who's painted a few times but is still learning. So that's what my goal is as a instructor, just to kind of come up with things that you can achieve. And this one is definitely a mid-level beginner painting. I think, it might be difficult for a first-time painting, but it's just dabs and dots. So I don't really think that it's anything that would be too difficult. All right, so now I'm just creating a lighter version of the pink, and I'm going to go back in and put some highlights in. But you can see how we've got a lot of nice little dark areas in now. Some of them are kind of centers of flowers, some of them are sort of sides of flowers, edges of petals and things like that. Trying to create some depth in there. The dark areas will help us give it some depth. So now that when we put these light petals in, it'll really pop them out. And I'm just going to put them in very I need two versions of that pink because that one's pretty bright. So I need like a medium brightness pink and then a super bright pink. Okay, there we go. I'm going to try to figure out where the light would be catching these flat petals and just put in a few light. And they're not going to look like whole flowers at first. It's going to look kind of weird. But when you step back, it'll be like, oh, there's the flower. Your eye will kind of do the work for you, oddly enough. So if you kind of put things in a general correct places, your eye sort of fills in the gaps for you. See that? This is very loose interpretation of petals. So we're not trying to create an exact petal, but this is very, very kind of expressionistic, a little bit more impressionist than I usually paint, maybe. I just like the feeling of it with the cherry blossoms. It kind of goes, it's sort of that Japanese sort of thing, way of painting. You know, very few brush strokes can create a interesting add a little bit of that medium pink to that. Yeah, I like it. What do you think, hun? Okay from your angle?
Yeah, it looks good. I'm just trying to think how long I could hold my eye breath.
You're still stuck on that? For those who missed it, I said that you needed space for your eye to breathe. So Mark's already still teasing me about that. It's the thing.
I'm not teasing you. I'm just concerned.
You never knew your eyes needed to breathe?
Exactly.
Yeah, they do. They kind of need to give it space to kind of relax, and I'm going to put one right here. I'm just using the tip of my brush. I've got it loaded very thickly with paint. Probably shouldn't get it up here, so don't do that. Don't do what I just did, but that's all right. So I really like to have it scooped up nice and thick for these kind of petals so that I can work quickly and just sort of lay on. Lots of petals all in one cluster here. Go ahead and I think it's really important when I'm doing this to do some very, very small. So some are just like little dots and some are longer sweeping petals. It helps sell it. I don't know, makes it look a little bit more realistic. I put a few more like right back in here. I feel like it needed something back there. Okay.
Somebody's requested a slow-mo on the brush stroke.
Okay.
So I'll talk really slow.
Zoom in well for you
maybe you
to do it.
Let me know when you go, so I'll talk slow.
Let me mix up a little bit more of this lighter pink too. I might need a little bit more Quinacridone Magenta. Let me clean out my brush because it's up where it should. Technically, really on a flat brush, you don't want to get the paint up by the silver ferrule because it could be hard to clean it out of there. So keep it out of there if you can. And when I do these ones that are a little bit farther away, I'm going to use a little bit of the purplish color in my brush. So, okay, so I've got this light pink color. Got it scooped up pretty well on my brush there. So it's fairly thick. And I'm just going to hold it with the tip down and pull light, short little, sorry, it's hard to go slow because I kind of do this quickly. It's sort of small little brush strokes, changing the direction that I'm pulling the brush so that it creates different shapes. So there's a flat one, I might turn it and do like just the tip, pull flat, tip. So this is kind of the center of one of my flowers, but then I'm seeing another flower over here behind it. So I'm kind of putting a little bit there, and I'm doing these 5 petals around this one. I'll do another one here. And then do a couple, kind of turn this way. But I'm making sure that I'm leaving plenty of space visually. I'm not covering up all of the undercolors. Here I've got that kind of medium pink now. I'm going back in and sort of softening up some of these that it got a little bit bright. Because I don't want to give up all of the shadows that I created already. And if I get too much of the light color, I can go back in with the darker and add a little bit of that back in. Say I need more there or there. You know, it's just a matter of sort of building up layers of paint and creating some depth. I'm going to put some petals kind of off on their own, like they're falling down too. I think that'll be helpful. It'll fill in some of these empty spaces that we got going on.
And you're using your 3/8 angle brush right now?
Yes, this is a 3/8
Okay.
inch angle brush. You could do this with a filbert too, but I find that the angle brush gives me really interesting little dots and things. You can get like some really small little dots with it that you can't get with the filbert. But a filbert, you know, is the rounded brush, so it kind of can create really good flower petals too. And I'm not always covering over the dark areas. Sometimes I'm going next to it so that I'm like, this is the back petal, and I'm creating a couple more petals up above it, if that makes sense. So I'm not always using the covering over the darker petals underneath. I'm going to put a couple petals out here. I was getting caught in my towel there, sorry. It's like not wanting to move. Okay. Is that slow enough? That kind of makes sense, I think, hopefully. I'm still kind of going fast, but... All right, so I'm going to leave that for now. Come back to that. Just spray I'm not really needing any glazing medium for this since I'm putting these on so thickly. It's not really needing any, we're not really blending anything today. This is a totally different kind of type of painting, so. What are you laughing at over there? Do I not want to know?
Nothing in particular.
Okay.
Oh, no. It just, people are coming in late.
Okay.
And so the question came up again, why did you pick the dark background? I said, and
Because I wanted, I like that dark blue to that navy and bright pink I don't know, it's kind of a decorating trend right now I've seen. So just kind of liked the look of it. But you can totally do the lighter blue if you want to do that too. Plus last year I did a cherry tree that had the light blue background, so just kind of want to do something different, little different color scheme this time. Change it up. Artistic liberties here. You can do yours however it makes you happy. Not gonna hurt my feelings. In fact, I love it when people take my ideas and kind of do their own thing with it. A lot of times it's better than mine. Like, wish I'd thought of that. Okay, so we're almost done with these light pink highlights here. Let's do the purplish ones. I'm going to grab the little bit of that Prussian blue, mix a little bit of that in with that, and then use the white with it. Whoops, I got way too much white there. Prussian blue. There we go. So just like a light blue violet color to highlight our petals that are farther away. Just continuing that. They'll have highlight too. They'll just look a little bit darker, a little bit more blue because they're farther away. But they still get the highlights. See, I'm turning my brush every time I do a new petal. Do a little bit on this one too. Okay, let's zoom out and see what we got. Ooh, pretty. Just pretty concentrated in there. I got it pretty stacked up. Okay, well, move my plate out of the way, sorry. All right, so now I just want to add some of the centers. I'm going to grab the yellow, the Indian yellow, and a little bit of the Unbleached Titanium. Mix those together. And I'm going to use the tip of my brush. I might actually, let me switch to a smaller little brush here. Grab my number 2 round. So I made a kind of a light yellow orange color. So if you don't have the Indian yellow, just make yourself like a yellowy orange. Really isn't that important that it's the exact same color as mine. Just kind of that same general color family. And we're going to pick a few of these ones that look like there's maybe the center. And just add a few little tiny scribbles. And that's really what they are, little tiny scribbles of yellow. Just a few. Don't do all of them. It'll kind of ruin it if you try to outline all of them with yellow. You don't want to lose all of the mystery of what's going on there. Plus, if you did it right, you've got some kind of pointing away and in different directions, so you're not going to see this part of the flower in all of them. All right, so we're just putting a few And this will actually kind of help your eye too. It'll go, oh, that's the center of that. Okay, I see it now. And if it didn't, you know, come together before for you, it should kind of help create some flower shapes in your mind. Might be a little bit too bright for those. I'm going to add a little bit of that. So I'm aiming for these dark areas because that will be the center of most of our flowers. Okay. Moving back out. Then we're going to create some leaves. So I'm going to grab a little bit of the Prussian Blue and some of this. I put out way more yellow than I needed there. I don't know what I was thinking. This is cadmium yellow light. So we're making a leaf green here with the cadmium yellow and a little bit of Prussian Blue. And we're going to add a little bit of that. And these are growing, these leaves are growing right where the stems happen. So they're just on a few of these stems, you're going to see a little bit of leaf growth. And I might add a little bit more of the Prussian Blue to darken it up a little bit. But it is kind of a lime green color that happens. Okay. Uh-oh. What happened there? A little bit of the little leaves here and there. They're little baby ones too. They're not very big. I'm going to just tuck them in. Just setting my brush down and kind of plopping to make a little leaf shape. I think I was showing that part up there, sorry.
No.
Alright, I got a little bit of blue right here that went away. Okay. Let me zoom out. Okay, so it's pretty good at this point, but I still want that extra bright highlight on a few of these because there's some that are really getting hit by the light. If you look at our picture, there's some that are almost white. They're so bright with sunshine hitting them. So now I'm going to really be selective about where I put some highlights here. And I'm going to go in. I'm going to actually grab the Unbleached Titanium this time so that it has a little bit of a yellowish tone, so that maybe the sunlight looks, you know, like it's hit it. Might add a little bit of white to brighten it up just a little bit more, but it's mixing with that pink. It's going to be a nice bright yellowish peach color. Peachy pink. This will be our sunlight color. So then I'm going to go, okay, so this one's getting hit right here. This one's getting hit a little bit. Really selective where this, think this through a little bit more carefully than we did any of the others. So I don't want it to be everywhere, and I want to push back some of the petals that are on the back side of these clusters. So now I'm really having to think, okay, this one is up front and center, so it's going to get hit by the sunlight, and it's probably poking out right along these top edges of this petal. Okay. These are all farther away, so I'm not going to do anything on those. This one's getting hit right here. This one might get a little bit. This one got a little bit. Let's go to this next one. So this one is kind of farther away, so I'm not going to do anything there, but I'm going to hit this front side of it that's facing up. This one. Maybe this one. A little bit right there, a little bit right there. That's it. It'll be kind of the centers. I'm going to kind of focus on the center areas, not touching these outer areas as much. I'll put a little bit on that little one there. And it'll bring these ones forward that are okay. Go. Okay, so these are a little bit farther away, so I'm not going to give them as much light. I maybe hit this one up right over here that's sticking out right there and bring this one forward a little bit. But I'm not going to touch these darker ones that are in the shadows. And I think I might leave this one a little bit shadowed. Just do a little bit of really bright right in this one. This will be on the back side of it, so leave that one in shadow. This one will kind of get a little bit of light, maybe. See how we're kind of deciding where these petals are really forming out of the flower. Let's pull it back. Okay, now we got some really good depth going on. Grab a little bit of the blue and make a light blue with the white. And I'm going to just do a little bit more of the highlight color along this branch. Just here and there. I'm going to wipe off most of the paint so that it's dry brushing. And I'm going to think about where that light might be hitting, especially this part's probably exposed, and maybe a little bit of this is exposed. Really bring out that branch. Tap it along there so that it's kind of got some knobby looking things happening. Can go back in and highlight some of these branches if I decided that we covered too much of it up here and there. We can go back in and lay some branches over the top of some flowers again if we need to. I think we're doing okay. Okay. And let's put some more petals in, kind of random petals just floating around in space. Get some of that pink. I want to put some over here. Just kind of. Let me take this color painting off now. I think we've seen that enough. Okay. Or it's not a painting, it was just a photograph. Put a few, like they're falling from above too. We can create some movement over in some areas so that maybe they're pulling the petals that way. There we go. What do you think, hon? Good?
It looks great.
Looks great.
People love it.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Good. All right. I think we're about done. What do you think? I can't really think of anything else that I want to do with it. I think we're going to call it good. We did a short one for today, for a Saturday. It's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, Stickman.
Hey. Look at that.
I remembered.
Sorta.
All right, so let's bring some cherry blossom branches down here from above. He's walking in some cherry branches. This is our mascot, Stickman. Mark drew him, and I kind of create things for him every show. I'm going to double load my brush, fancy like, with white and pink, so I can just dab my blossoms. That would have been a lot easier, huh? I could have just done that. Been done. 5 seconds. Boom. Thanks, guys, for watching today. If you are new to my channel, please subscribe, give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment, let me know what you enjoyed about today's video, and check out my other videos by clicking my name or my photograph, and it'll take you to my channel, and you can see all the other different tutorials. I've got one that I did last spring that had pear blossoms, so it was white with blue background. White blossoms similar to this, so I think they would look good coordinating together, and all kinds of other different paintings for beginners and advanced, and I've got different playlists for different themed things. So if you are into flowers or animals or butterflies or whatever, I've got playlists for you, all kinds of different things that I've painted. So
you can follow on Facebook,
yep,
Instagram.
Twitter and Instagram. Yep, I've got all. And yeah, if you want to join my Thankful Art group on Facebook and keep up with what I'm doing, I've got chats every Monday on Facebook, live chats where I answer questions, and actually I'm on camera to put on makeup and everything, comb my hair. It's amazing. Thanks, guys. We'll see you on Tuesday night. I'm not sure what we're going to be painting, but it's a mystery. I'll have it up for you, though, probably Monday or Tuesday for you to check out. But we'll be here regardless, so just show up. You'll never know what you're going to get.
That's right. Something will be painted.
That's right. We'll see you next time. Thanks.